Hi everybody and welcome back to BD Studios. I'm Belkis and today's project will be painting with hot glue. Something interesting that I've tried before. I've seen it on YouTube, so we're going to try it together. What you need for this project is canvas, but I have a canvas board, so that's good enough for me. This is what I'm going to use. You could probably do it on heavy duty thick paper, but I don't know how the glue is going to adhere to it, but you could try it and experiment on a little piece before you try. Obviously, you're going to need a hot glue gun. So if you're doing this project with kids, be careful because obviously it can burn. Mine is not hot temp; it's a low temp hot glue gun, but it does the job really well, and the burns are not as bad if you do burn yourself. Okay, you will need glue sticks because we might go through a few of them. Okay. You'll need a container to put your paint on. You will need brushes to paint. Your handy dandy bottle of water to clean your brushes. And I'm going to be using metallics. I have 3 shades of gold, okay? Metallic paint. I want to make it like a gnarly old tree with no leaves on it, kind of cool like that. And I'm also going to use a little touch of green to age it and make it look like when copper gets aged through time, it gets verdigris. I think that's what they call it. I may be saying the wrong word, but you get that aged green effect. So I thought something like that would be really cool. So let me stop the video real quick and position the camera so you can see me from above. I think I came up with a new method. Okay guys, we're back. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure my glue gun is hot, and it is. I've had it plugged in for a while. And so I'm loosely going to start. Actually, you know what? If you want to, for those of you who have a hard time visualizing, you can start sketching it with a pencil so you have a guide. So my tree is going to be off to the side like that. And then I'm just going to make spaces where all the branches are going to be. So you can go like this just to give yourself a gauge. You may make a nice circle. You know how trees sometimes are hollow like that and they have marks, and then the roots go this way, but you could just make lines and guides for yourself. But basically this is what we're gonna do. Let me just turn it around real quick. Just a simple little sketch of a tree, but the fun part comes when you start adding the glue. Make sure I'm in the frame of the picture. Yep. So let me put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing, people. Okay, so I'm just going to start drawing the outline of the tree, see? Like that. The outline of what I did with the pencil. And as you go along, you just squeeze and squeeze till you get the nice consistency. I'm going to do my circle here. But I'm not going to do a full circle. I went half circle, so it has like movement in it. And when you're painting with glue, you are going to get those little pieces of strands of glue. You can just dust it off like that, like I just did, or dust it off later, or pick it maybe with hair tweezers or whatever, or leave it alone. Once we paint it, sometimes when the paint it kind of disintegrates itself. See how I'm not using any rhythm? It's just very organic. Obviously it's a tree, so we want all the little lines inside. So you make lines inside of lines and squiggles, and because trees, like nature, is not perfect, so it has its character, and you want it to have lots of movement. Go again around the circle inside the tree. Just go crazy with it, because the more you add, the more interesting the tree is going to come out. I'm going to turn it sideways like that. See, so you guys can see. I'll bring it up to the camera in case it's not very visible. So the tree has branches, so you just kind of go like that, in and out, weaving in and out of your lines. If you see a little area that's still clear, fill it. Give the tree branches like this, like what I'm doing. So I did a long line, and then I did little squiggly lines, and then within those squiggly lines you do more and more and more and more. The good thing about using hot glue is that it dries pretty fast. So when the glue is dry, which will be shortly, all this down here is already touchable. It's all dry, okay? we can actually start painting immediately. So that's kind of makes it fun for me. For me, who has no attention span, very short, you know, and I like things fast. Obviously, I like things fast. It's very satisfying. You make it, you paint it, and instant gratification. I love it. I love it. This is an interesting project. I've done it on a roof tile, and I've done it on a canvas, and I like it. It comes out really interesting. You can also do faces and everything with glue. Maybe that'll be another episode, another project that we could do together. But let's start off with the tree, which doesn't require too much thinking. You're just filling in all the spaces. Let me see if you can see it in the camera. I'm gonna bring it up. Just be careful you don't burn yourself, but you know, again, I'm using a low temp glue gun, so. All right, so I'm going to take one of my brushes. I'm concerned that you guys make sure you can see it. I'm going to take one of my brushes, and I'm just going to, you know, kind of dust it off a little bit. So all of those little hairs that were loose down here. This area is dry. This one's still warm, so I'm going to do this area first. The day is really beautiful today. It's nice and breezy. So I'm coming to you from my indoor studio. Wink, wink. See, it's dry already up here too. So I'm just dusting off to take away the little strands. It might have been loose like that. I don't like the way they look. And we're ready for paint. We're ready. Okay, so I am going to use, like I told you, I have, you can see it here. I have, somebody's texting me, but I can't answer them now. I have paint. I have 2 shades of gold. I'm using antique gold and pure gold. They're just, you know, 2 different shades. And then I'm using royal gold, which is a darker one. So it'll just add dimension. If you don't have these colors, then and you have one metallic, use one metallic. I am going to use a little bit of black. I forgot to say it at the beginning. Sorry. Just to give it shadows when we get in there. And like I said, I'm going to be using this green shade. It's almost like between a teal and a green to give it that aged look. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the lightest shade, okay, which is the lightest shade of gold. And I'm just going to fill in my tree. Look how beautiful. It's so pretty. There's another technique that maybe I'll leave for another class where you apply the hot glue and you paint, and then you come in and peel all that hot glue. And it leaves all these interesting shapes that you created with the hot glue. So that'll be another class. That'll be fun to do. See how the little hairs just start popping up by themselves? That's fine. If you see that your glue lifted in a certain spot, go back in and fill it in. It's not a big deal. I like the way mine came out. I don't, you know, particularly want to do anything else to it. So let me paint upside down so you can see how the tree's coming together. People, it's instant gratification, and like I said, it doesn't, you know, really, it's not that hard. Kids would enjoy doing this. You help them, obviously. Once the glue is dry, you can let them go and they can do their own thing. Even little kids, this is very easy. You can draw whatever you want. You can draw a happy face. I thought also about doing like a nice big beautiful heart. I'm just giving you guys ideas in case you're like, I don't want to do a tree. You want to do a tree? Do a heart. And you can go in the same direction as the heart, following the outline shape of the heart. You can do it over and over, and it will look really pretty. And you can do different shades of red. Possibilities are endless. Once you discover how fun it is to paint with glue, you'll want to try it over and over again, which is what happened to me. Okay, so here in this little spot, my glue, I got a lot of those little strands, but I'm missing a little circle of my tree, so I'm just going to fill it in. And while that dries, I'm going to clean my brush. Like I've always told you guys, make sure you clean your brush in between. And I'm going to go with the next shade of gold, and I'm going to start filling in all the nooks and crannies, okay, again. And it starts adding, I don't know if you guys can see it really well, it starts adding dimension to the piece and depth. Very interesting words, dimension and depth. But it's essential to create the final look that you layer your paint like this. And I haven't decided yet if I am going to paint the whole thing gold. I kind of like that because it gives it like a metallic, like if you're painting metal, it's not going to end up looking like glue. It's going to look like something metallic. And I enjoy that vibe about making it look like it's not paint. That's kind of fun to do. So it's coming along nicely. Again, I'm using the next shade of gold that I have. And fill in your nooks and crannies. You don't want to saturate it either, so that way each tone of gold stands on its own. We are layering the paint, so this is basically, you have to have patience because you are layering the paint. A little bit of patience, not a lot, because that's not me. Okay, so I've already applied my lightest shade of gold, my medium shade of gold, and I'm going to go in with the darker shade of gold. So I'm going to clean my brush again and dry it really good. You don't want water on your brush, okay, especially when you're working with metallics. So I'm going to make sure I dry my brush really good. Okay, this way, so you can see better. Is it all in the frame? Almost. Okay, so I'm going to go in with my darker shade. And this time, instead of filling in, I'm just going to do it, like a back and forth motion. So it creates movement, not in every spot, just in some of the spots. And you'll notice that some of the glue, you'll see that some of the glue stays transparent and a little bit of white. But don't worry, when we go back in with the black and we go in with more glue, with more metallics and the green, you're going to see that that's going to change. Again, I am not, like I did with the other two golds, I'm not painting the entire tree. I'm kind of giving it highlights. Okay? You can go back in your circle and on the canvas itself, make the gold, the next shade of gold a little darker around the circle. Okay. The only problem with teaching like this is that I can't really see what I'm doing. So let me turn it around again. I mean, as far as having the camera really down like that, but I think it helps you guys to be able to see what I'm doing versus doing it, from far away at an angle. I'm trying different methods so that you can see better. And I made an interesting contraption with 2 tripods. Okay, I'm loving it. Alright, so I've decided I'm just going to do the whole thing gold, right? Yeah. So I'm just, while that's drying, I'm going to do my medium shade of gold. It looks so pretty. I love metallics. I didn't used to, and I've worked a few times with it, and I really enjoy them. It took me a while to like get into it, and I was like, hey, I kind of like this. And put a little more gold. I'm using now the lighter one again instead of the darker one, so I can create dimension. And do it like this at an angle so it kind of goes in the same direction as the tree. See? So you create that illusion that the tree is all going in that direction. It's pretty. Okay. And then we'll go back in and fill it in with another shade. So I'm gonna go like this, and I'm pushing it all off the canvas like that. If you don't like your brush strokes, change it. Wait for it to dry. Do it again. Don't be afraid. Okay? So while I'm waiting for all this gold to dry, I'm going to take this brush, yeah, and I'm gonna angle it like that. And I'm not even gonna clean it. It's okay. I want to take black, and I'm gonna just go right here along the edge. I know it looks intimidating, but don't be afraid. You're creating just a shadow around the tree. And since I'm painting on the glue, it doesn't really stay very thick. It starts getting muted, and that, I love it. Dogs around the neighborhood barking away. Even the dogs are antsy. They're like, ah, you gonna take me for a walk again? I'm hiding. All right, so clean your brush if you have too much color. I had too much color there. So now I'm gonna smear it even more to create the shadow, see? It's kind of a mysterious old tree. It's wise. It's seen a lot of things. Like many of us, we've seen a lot of things. Things that make us happy, things that make us sad, but that's every experience we go through tells our story. And when we're living in it, sometimes we're, really bogged down and say, why is this happening? But, there's always a reason. You learn from everything that you go through in life. And when you get really old, you say, wow, I've really lived a good, interesting life. So that's a nice shadow there. All right, so now I'm going to clean my brush again, right? Clean, clean, clean. Lots of clean. You don't want it to get muddy. I'm going to apply my green. And I could turn it like this so you guys see it better. Sorry. I think that's better. I'm going to apply my green. And then we'll go back in and do metallics again. It's just a matter of being a little patient. This green is pretty. But once you mix it with the gold, it starts getting that, I don't know if I'm saying the right word, verdigris. You get that aged. Patina, that's the word I'm looking for. You get like a patina, like when copper gets lots of water on it. And you make sure you're mixing it in there, because notice how it started off really green and now it's getting muted. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so mix it in real good. Then we're going to come in with the black again. So it's all going to make sense once it comes together here. Just be patient. Patient. See, I'm gonna go back into my gold because, see, to mute out the green. Not too much green, but a little bit. So I'm gonna bring it down here, pick up some of the gold, go in a circular fashion here. Pretty. Pretty, 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 pretty tree. Tree of life. So many trees out there can tell so many stories if they could talk. They've been through so much. They've been on this earth for a long, long time. Okay. Now I'm gonna go back in with my black. And I didn't even clean my brush in this case because I don't mind if there's a little bit of green in it. And you're gonna go over all the little different marks that you did with the glue gun. You can go all over to highlight all those branches. And you're also creating shadows. In some spots the black can be a little darker, and I'm going like this with my brush. I'm not going like this, detail. No, you're like basically dusting. You're dusting. You're dusting the tree, or rather you're dusting all the branches that you created with the glue. So don't saturate your brush too much and go very, very lightly, because you see how dark it gets, but it will dry a little less dark. I like showing all the shadows of the tree. I hope you can see it really good in the camera. I'll bring it up a little closer now. See how I'm not really painting, I'm kind of dusting, coating the top of the glue so you could see all of those pretty highlights. Very nice. Very nice. Here, my circle, the circle that I did with, make sure you go over it again. Go inside the nooks and cranny really lightly, because you don't wanna cover up all the green and the pretty stuff that you did. Let me turn it around again. Sorry, so that I can see what I'm painting. There we go. That's nice. Very nice. Okay. Again, when you're done, you don't like something, you go back in, people. You go back in. Remember, paint, it's just paint. Don't be afraid. If you let it dry a little bit, you go back in and you add more gold. You add more green. You add whatever you'd like. It's your tree. It's your story. You control it, okay? All right. And so when you're done also, and you think, well, too much of my canvas is showing, guess what? Add more glue, and you can go back in and fill it in a little bit more. That's really pretty. I'm happy with it. So now, all of it is covered. I think I am going to add a little bit more of my dark gold, and I can come in little areas like that and add shadow. Add a little more shadow where my canvas is showing. Where my canvas is showing inside all the nooks and crannies, you can go like this, and you can paint a little bit more of the shadow if you didn't like it. See, like that. Over here it's too light, so I'm gonna add a little bit more. Over here, just wherever you think your eye draws you to, you can just add a little bit more. It's really pretty. I really like it. Again, like I said, it's all up to you and your preference. I'm gonna do a little bit more of the green, but this time I'm gonna clean my brush really good, and I'm just gonna go in and dab it in different areas. Dab it wherever you didn't get enough green. It's pretty because it creates that patina. Finally came up with the word. I couldn't come up with the word. I know verdigris is something else. So I think I might have been saying the wrong word, but patina. Patina's lovely. I love patina. Patina's also like something that has rust on it, and it's delicious. If you're into that, I am. I love anything that has a little bit of history, a little bit of a story to tell. I love that. I think it's coming along very nicely. Add a little bit more of the green if you want. So I think in here I am going to put a little bit more of the dark gold. Oh, look at that. It just adds another dimension. If you want to not make your tree like this and you want to make it more alive, you can do leaves. Okay? You want to. Let me turn it around. I think I'm pretty happy with it. Again, you can spend hours trying to do different techniques and whatever you'd like to do to make your tree more interesting. Add more glue, add more color, but I think it looks lovely and it's an interesting project, and you could even try it with the kids. So let me turn up the camera to say bye-bye. So it was great creating with you guys. Hope you catch the video and join in. See you next week. Bye.